Hey guys, Foxdrop here. Today I've got a video for you guys talking a bit about the blame game. Now we have 2 points to talk about in this video. 2 points, but I'm going to give you to them in one video. So you're getting 2 for the price of 1 right here. How lucky are you? Before we get started, I just want to say I hope you've had a wonderful Saturday. I hope it's been a little bit better than mine, where I woke up kind of late and haven't really done anything, but I am making this video for you, so I suppose that's something, right? And anyway, the first thing that I want to talk about here is a point in solo queue about how to diffuse arguments between your teammates. We all know that arguing amongst teammates is probably the worst thing you can do in solo queue, much worse than just playing poorly. And whereas it may be easy, or maybe not so easy, but whereas it's easier to control yourself about arguing with teammates, it's kind of hard to control your teammates because you can't control what other people do. So, this is a point regarding 2 teammates arguing within each other. Let me start by giving you an example of where you might want to use it. So let's say that your bot lane went in for an aggressive fight, and as they're fighting, they get ganked by the enemy jungler. So your AD carry, or Lucian, says to your Braum, your support, "What the hell, mate? Why didn't you ward?" And your Braum says to your Lucian, "Why are you going aggressive right now? This was a poor time to go aggressive. You knew we could get ganked at any time." So these are 2 points which are honestly fair enough points by themselves, and this is going to start an argument. Both of them think that it's the other person's fault why they died. Now this is pretty bad for your team, obviously, because you don't want any teammates arguing amongst themselves, let alone the duo lane. So we know that the AD carry and the support are arguing amongst themselves because they're blaming each other for their death. You should also know that in solo queue, when people argue about things, it's not really in an attempt to educate the other person. It's mostly just an emotional way to let off steam. If Lucian's main point in this argument was to encourage Braum to ward some more, then he probably wouldn't be calling him a dickhead and questioning his mother's profession. And likewise, if the Braum only cared about educating Lucian or maybe not going so aggressive when there aren't many wards down, then he wouldn't be calling Lucian a dickhead and questioning his mother's profession. So we know that the only reason why the fire in this argument is still burning is because people need to let off steam and they blame each other. And that's where you come in and you accept blame. You say something like, "Oh, I saw him on the minimap, I should have pinged, I'm sorry, I saw the jungler on his way, that's my bad." By stepping in and not only trying to calm the situation, but by actually accepting blame for the situation, you can then become a target for these guys' frustration. Now, of course, I'm not saying this is going to work every single time, but in my experience, this does work a fair amount. If you can actually give these guys something to rage at that isn't each other, and you know you can take it, that's fine. If you step in and you say that, "Yeah, that was my bad, I'm sorry about that, guys," then the people who are angry at each other, instead they can be angry at you. And if they blame you, that's fine. You don't give a shit. You know deep down it wasn't your fault. All you care about is stopping these guys from arguing amongst themselves. I also tend to find as well that the more humility someone can show in one of these arguments, the easier that it dies down. The thing is, most arguments happen when 2 things clash like this. You get one person who's angry and doesn't want to back down against another person who's angry and doesn't want to back down. If you take away one of those elements, you kind of break the chain there and you just say, "Yeah, sorry boys, that was my fault," then it kind of stops the argument from keeping on going. So that's the first thing that I want to say for this video. In solo queue, if you find 2 teammates arguing amongst themselves, try and take the blame, because you'll find that actually helps the argument to stop. Second point is really nothing like the first one. It's more a point about the general concept of taking blame in solo queue. So we all know that we shouldn't blame our teammates for 2 reasons, right? Firstly, it's bad to start arguments amongst your team, and secondly, you also don't want to be looking at other things when really you should just be looking at yourself and how you can improve. Now, I'm pretty sure all of you guys will understand that point, right? You've heard it 10 million times before. However, it's something that tends to not really be applied too well outside of that example of blaming your team. So what I mean by that is that people will take on the fact that they shouldn't blame their team, but then won't really take it on to other factors instead. I'm not quite sure if I explained myself too well there, but basically, I'll just give you an example, right? So I had a TF in one of my games when I was playing on my Ranked Diamond account, right? This guy, no offense to him, don't think he was very experienced at TF, we'll just put it like that. Now, I'm not flaming this guy, I didn't flame him in game, I'm not calling him out, I'm not saying he's a trash player, I'm just saying this guy didn't really know the mechanics behind TF to the extent where he was playing against an Akali, didn't know that his ultimate even revealed stealth. So we're playing this game, he's always putting blue cards instead of gold cards, he doesn't use his ultimate properly, like I say, he doesn't use it to reveal stealth. He has a very strange build, he teleports in with his ult without having any cards drawn. It's a very weird Twisted Fate play. So from my perspective, I can see why this guy is having a bit of a rough game. But you know what this guy says at the end of the game? He says, "Fuck dynamic queue." That is genuinely what he said. He said, fuck dynamic queue, bring back solo queue. Really? Why? Of all the things that you were blamed for that game, of all the mistakes you could choose from, you're going to choose the fact that dynamic queue exists. Like, what did he even mean by that? Was he saying that our teammate had like 3 people or 4 people queued up and he felt like they were holding him back? Did he think the enemy team was full of tryhards because they had 5 people all grouped up? Like, what was like the angle he was going for here? You know, it doesn't even matter what his angle was. The thing is, right, is that in solo queue, people will blame things all the time. Any excuse to not blame themselves, they'll do it. Now, this Tips of Fate did not blame his teammates, right? He wasn't a toxic teammate by any means. But the reason why I tell you guys to not blame your teammate is so that you can reflect on things that go wrong rather than project. And whereas this guy was not blaming his teammates, he still didn't really have that concept in his heart. And as a result of that, he's probably not going to improve very well at all. All the times that you blame things that aren't yourself are times when you're going to be holding yourself back from improving. If you've ever used the words, there's nothing I can do, or not much I can do, something like that, then these are all times when really you're just kind of like throwing away the opportunity for you to like actually reflect on the situation and see what it is that you could be doing differently, what you should be doing for you to improve. I know maybe it sounds a little bit unfair, like say the enemy laner got a kill from your jungler and it has made the lane hard. I know those things can influence the game, but at the end of the day, those things by themselves don't win the game. If these things just ended the game flat out, then every game would have like a 5-minute average duration. What would be the point of playing it out if the game's over when the enemy gets 1 kill? Like, there's ways for you to be improving whatever the situation. Playing from behind is a really important one for you to become a better player and for you to climb. To be honest, I believe that probably the biggest way for you to be climbing, the easiest way for you to be climbing, is just to take like 1 or 2 defeats and turn them into victories. I know by itself it sounds like a really, really dumb statement, but I genuinely mean if you get better at playing from behind and can actually scrape out some wins from those losses, not only do you not lose like 20 LP, but then you gain 20 LP. Like from 1 game, you're almost half a division higher. So yeah, just to recap, it's not just about not blaming your teammates, it's about not blaming external things at all. Always reflect back on yourself and see what you could have done. Even if there was absolutely no way you could have won the game, there's always things that you can do differently, that you can do better, that will help you to improve. And as cheesy as it sounds, guys, the more of those that you work on, the better you'll be and the more you'll climb. Simple as that. So I hope you enjoyed this video today, guys. This is something that I've had in my head for like a little while, but I just couldn't really find a way to like structure it. And kind of thinking about it right now, I'm not sure if I even got it out the way I wanted to get it out, but I hope you found it useful. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to me for more educational league content. You can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, and catch me streaming over at twitch.tv/Foxdrop. All those links are down below in the description. But most importantly, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in my next video.